All right, I'm going to go ahead and tee you up for this next game. I know that we talked off air about this. I'm dipping my toe in. I'm, cautiously headed to the window. Sir, do you know what you want to bet on? And I sheepishly shake my head and I whispered, Vanderbilt -6. Here's the deal. I mean, Hawaii is, I'll make an analogy here. In my house, between August and the beginning of April, it is college sports wall to wall. It's college football and then it's the college basketball season. The rest of the time, my wife has home renovation shows on. And this is one of those flip or flop situations where you walk in, the foundation of the house is cracked. The kitchen's a galley kitchen. All the appliances are mismatched. The flooring looks awful. The master suite doesn't have a bathroom attached to it. It's a disaster. But potentially long term, it's in the right location. It may have some access to the waterfront. That's the Hawaii program right now. I like Timmy Chang a whole lot. I love this program. One of the most sentimental teams to me in my life was the '07, Bows, when they went all the way, took it to the Sugar Bowl. Who cares what happened against that Georgia team that was absolutely loaded? They won so many close games. They were always that break glass in case of emergency gambling team. Oh no, I'm down 6 units on a Saturday. Is anyone still out there yet to kick off? Oh, Hawaii kicks off at 11:59 p.m.
Take the over.
Fantastic. All right, let me hop in with Colt Brennan and the boys. Rest in peace. So I got a lot of love for this program. And I think in time, because of the system, he wants to run that spread, that run and shoot, kind of the throwback to the June Jones days. I think they can accomplish it, just not in one off season. And I think, through the passing game, they could be okay in this game, in terms of actually getting the ball back to the quarterback, getting it out to the perimeter. But their offensive line is not going to be okay. And I know that Vanderbilt is far from world beaters when it comes to generating pressure. I think they were maybe either last or second to last in the SEC in sacks generated last year. But when I look at what they're bringing back, they've experienced at all three levels of the defense. And I think just in the trenches, if I say trench 3 times, Colin Wilson just shows up like Beetlejuice. But listen, they're going to be so physical in there. I think they're going to wear down this Hawaii team. I'm surprised that you can still get this number out there in the market at -6.5. I would play it all the way up to -9.5 on the Commodores here. They're going to steam out to Hawaii, play this game, be focused, because it's very rare for a program like this to be served on a silver platter hope. And when you look at Vanderbilt, they've been hopeless for years, really. I mean, you could go all the way back to the James Franklin days. That was the last time they really believed in themselves. But you can look at this schedule: Hawaii, Elon, and Northern Illinois. And Northern Illinois always plays in close games. You could see a scenario where Vanderbilt starts 3-1. So those kids have been hearing it. They've been getting positivity on the offseason. And yes, if you want to play Hawaii, in my opinion, you want to play them either at the beginning of the season or the end of the season, because the logistical element of it, you can take so much more care in terms of turnaround time and when you get out there and practice schedules and getting on the right sleep schedule. You can do it if it's bookended of the season. And the last shout out I'll give to Colin Wilson here, he did great work last year putting together metrics for home field advantage. It is an absolute debunked myth that Hawaii has this great home field advantage. They do not. He had him ranked in the 120s in terms of, the closing number against the spread and performance. And when you toss in the fact that they're playing in a practice complex that has like 9,000 seats, I did see on Twitter their athletic department was trying to pump everybody up. It'll be an environment like you've never seen. It's like Vanderbilt plays at Bryant Denny. They play at Jordan Hare. They play in the Swamp. Like they're going to be ready for, them doing the haka and getting pumped up for this game. So, the more I talk about this, the more I'm excited. Talk me through a little bit of the personnel and X's and O's and why you like Vandy so much here.
Well, it will be an environment they haven't seen since the COVID year when there were no fans in the stands anywhere. So they'll be going back to that. If you're hesitantly tiptoeing up to the window, I'm in the back rolling my eyes saying, get out of the way so I can place this bet on Vanderbilt. I love this bet. I bet it live on the show when Colin was talking about it. And the more I read about it, the more I loved it. If you listen to that, Mountain West preview, I'm very down on Hawaii this year. Love Timmy Chang, but honestly, if he was suiting up at 40, I'd be a little more worried about my Vanderbilt bet. But there was such a mass exodus from the island after Todd Graham killed their love and passion for football. Their words, not mine. They said that's what his players said about him. They lost their quarterback, running backs, receivers, linebackers, corners. They have just 5 returning starters, 3 on offense, 2 on defense. Still don't know who their quarterback is. Could be Cam and Cooper, could be Braden Traeger. The fact that Cooper, who's a Washington State transfer, hasn't won the job is a little jarring, considering Braden Traeger was horrible last year. They lose 8 of their top 10 tacklers for a defense that was 113th in the country. And, yeah, okay, Vanderbilt's not great, but, they also haven't named their quarterback, but at least theirs, it's like, okay, I think it's going to be Mike Wright. He was much better than Ken Seals. 8 touchdowns, 6 picks. He's also very mobile, which I love. Every single running back that had a carry for Vanderbilt is back. Leading rusher Rocco Griffin's back. And you mentioned it. Colin Wilson wrote that piece about the biggest TARP discrepancies in week 0. Vandy returned 75% of TARP on both sides of the ball. The Commodores returned 72% of their pressures. Hawaii returns just 44% of their O-line snaps. Vandy is going to live in this backfield. And on the flip side, they bring back 70% of their passes defended, and Hawaii loses their entire passing attack. I don't know how Hawaii is going to score here. And, Vandy is going to dominate the trenches, and they're just going to run it down Hawaii's throat. And like I said, I don't know how Hawaii scores. And you mentioned the home field advantage myth. I looked it up. Over the last 7 years, teams are 27, 12, and 2 against the spread in Hawaii. It's people just, the numbers are always low because the public is just like, the public still sees Colt Brennan, and they still see that, oh, you're going to the island, and it's easy. And the numbers get inflated, and teams just cover with ease against them. And, I'm not a huge trends better typically, but if you are, SEC teams are 7-1 against Hawaii all time, and they're 3-1 on the island. So at the end of the day, Vandy's trash, but they're an SEC team going up against what's essentially Hawaii's like backups because all their starters left. So I'm pretty confident. I'm with you. I'll take it to 9.5. I got it at 6.5, and I love Vanderbilt in this spot.